Coming up on Tom Sox Weekly, we take a look back at a record-setting draft, and we spotlight a connection between the Sox and a successful partner program. All that and more coming up right now. Welcome to Tom Sox Weekly, presented by Zoom Indoor Cycling. I'm Gianni Maltese, and this week we have a bunch of exciting stories. Starting off, one of our very own, Jacob Tisdale, interviews our players and gets to see what it's like and what it takes to make it to the highest level of college baseball at Omaha and the toughness and grit it involves.
Aidan Teel's path to the Tom Sox was not typical. A highly regarded prospect out of New Jersey and brother of Virginia star catcher Kyle Teel, he was set to come to UVA as a two-way player before an injury caused a change of plans. In April 2022, his final year of high school, he tore the UCL in his shoulder, requiring Tommy John surgery. While the injury meant that he was unable to contribute to UVA on the field, he still made an impact off of it, serving as one of the lifebloods in the dugout for a team who made their sixth Men's College World Series appearance in 2023.
Not playing there, being in the dugout, it was still such an unbelievable experience watching my teammates play there and just being able to cheer them on, being the best teammate I can be. Yeah, it was just unbelievable getting to go and experience that. It's unlike no other baseball experience you can get.
Baseball players often dream of getting to a stage like that in Omaha, but those dreams rarely come true. Thankfully, for Aidan, even while he was sidelined, the experience represented that lifelong dream and experience that will stick with him forever.
Honestly, I never put myself in that stance where I was like, oh, maybe one day I'll be there. It was always just watching, and it was always a dream, like, yeah, to make it there, but I could never put myself in like those shoes of being there until getting there, and it was everything like I've ever dreamed of and more. So yeah, it was a dream come true and more. It was nothing like I've ever experienced with baseball.
Even more than simply being able to experience Omaha was the experience of sharing it with Kyle. Even though they never got to share the field, Teel is thankful for the lifelong memories they made and looks forward to seeing Kyle on the next level.
Watching Kyle get drafted, it was a dream come true for all of us, seeing all the hard work he puts in firsthand, being alongside him for all of it, from day one of when he picked up a baseball until his last baseball game. I mean, just being there, being a part of all of it, it was a dream come true for all of us, the whole family, and we all loved watching it, so it was super enjoyable.
Aidan Teel has put together a great summer here in Charlottesville based on his experiences in Omaha. For Tom Sox Weekly, I'm Jake Tisdale.
Thank you, Jake. We have a great connection here at Charlottesville Tom Sox with the Florida Southwestern Bucks. We've had many pro and D1 players come out of the program. Our very own Alex Rocco has more.
Hey Tom Sox fans, I'm Alex Rocco, and over the past few campaigns, Florida Southwestern and the Tom Sox have really developed a nice connection between the two programs, sending a lot of players back and forth, and I recently caught up with a lot of those players that spent time in Florida Southwestern.
It all started in 2021 when former head coach Ben Bizier sent 3 Bucks to join the Tom Sox: Alex Ayala Jr., Carlos Rodriguez, and Calvin Alexander. Ayala and Rodriguez both traveled to Charlottesville to prepare for the upcoming MLB Draft, while Alexander was injured and unable to come. It ended up being quite the successful pairing, as Ayala and Rodriguez were both top 10 round draft picks, and that relationship between the two teams would only continue to blossom. Fast forward to the 2022 campaign, and Alexander made it to Charlottesville for the first time now as a transfer from Division II Georgia Southwestern, and he was joined by his teammate Satchel Norman. Norman worked his way to becoming the 3rd FSW draft pick in just 2 seasons to play in Charlottesville, while Alexander tied a single-season record with 6 home runs.
It's pretty cool. Playing with a couple of the boys, new coach there, so they got to talk about their experience, and then kids around the valley also played at FSW, so meeting up back with them and just having a good time playing baseball.
That brings us to this season, where a trio of former Bucks joined multiple future ones on this year's squad. Second-year FSW head coach Zach Cole, a Valley League veteran who won 15 games against the Sox in 4 seasons, including a pair of playoff series, says that Charlottesville was a perfect fit for his guys.
You know, I knew when I got into the situation I'm in now as a head coach in college that I would want to send guys to Charlottesville. I think they do a phenomenal job with the whole experience, the host families and the atmosphere, the game day operations. Like it's a really special place for guys to go spend their summer. And I've got a tremendous amount of respect for the organization. I'm super pumped to have our guys there and be able to compete in the summer.
With 3 Bucks already on this year's roster and Henry Hardy, Sergio Rivera, and Derek Williams, the relationship was already strong, but it only grew from there. 2 more Sox, Salvi Alvarez and Nathan Fink, committed to Cole and the Bucks, while all 3 of the former Bucks found Division I destinations.
I mean, it was the first call that I got once I got to the portal. Coach Cole gave me a chance right away. He called me the day I entered the portal. And at first I was trying to look at other options, but after talking to a few people, I just knew that FSW was the right fit.
I just needed to go somewhere I could play and get back on track. I think I needed to go to junior college for that, and I mean, it was pretty easy. I just entered the portal, and a bunch of schools would text you and ask you if you're interested and watch you play a little bit.
Guy definitely know what he's doing. I'm pretty sure we were the top JUCO draft picks this year. Yeah, he gave me another opportunity after getting out of Kansas. Got me there at FSW, have a good time.
Rivera's speed defines him on the diamond, and Cole spoke highly of how it impacted the FSW program and the Tom Sox.
His personality is infectious. Other people around him, it's fun to be around him. And, when you see him run, you're just like, oh my gosh, that's different. So I'll tell you a fun story real quick about Sergio. The first day that he was on campus with us, we had an inter-squad game, and he hits a ground ball up the middle. And you're like, oh, that's a single. And all of a sudden you look up, and he was like standing on second base. And it's like, I don't think I've ever seen a guy hit a ground ball up the middle and turn into a double. And I think right there, we the coaching staff looked at each other. We're like, okay, this guy's different. It's the foot speed is, it's a lot different than a regular guy. Like it's a legitimately game-changing speed.
Derek Williams, a second Buck, who just committed to Wichita State, lived on the opposite side of the spectrum in Cole's words. A guy who can change the game with one swing of the bat. That has been apparent to Sox fans this summer, where Williams has hit 4 home runs, all of which tied the game or gave the Sox the lead, in addition to his victory in the Home Run Derby.
Derek's kind of the other end of the spectrum. Derek's the power guy. He's got massive juice. I think he hit 16 home runs for us. We had him and another guy that were kind of going tick for tack on breaking the school record. I think Derek actually broke it first and, all that type of stuff. But I think Derek's the all-time RBI leader at FSW. So, both those guys were a huge part of the success for us, and I'm glad to see them going to the Tom Sox and making an impact for you guys. So it's going to be exciting. We're pumped about the roster. We're pumped about the kind of kids we have, the kind of players we have coming in. And, that's our goal here is we're going to try to go to Grand Junction and win the Junior College World Series. And I can tell you this, we got more Bucks headed to Charlottesville.
Well, it definitely sounds like the Florida Southwestern and Tom Sox connection will continue to grow in the following seasons. For Tom Sox Weekly, I'm Alex Rocco.
Thank you, Alex. Upcoming on Tom Sox Weekly, we'll be able to hear about our record-setting MLB Draft and then our favorite team superlatives. But first, a word from Zoom Indoor Cycling.
Tom Sox Weekly is presented by Zoom Indoor Cycling. Located at 1929 Arlington Boulevard here in Charlottesville, Zoom is the premier spin cycle destination in Central Virginia. Your first class is free and you can sign up online at zoomcville.com. Zoom Indoor Cycling. Flip in, rock out, ride on.
Welcome back. 10 of your former Tom Sox players were drafted in the first 20 rounds of this year's MLB Draft, including our very own first-round draft pick. Nathan Schwartz has more.
The Valley Baseball League says it's the gateway to the majors, and during the MLB Draft last week, that couldn't have been more true. 10 former Tom Sox players got the call that they'd be playing baseball professionally, and 8 of those 10 players were selected within the first 14 rounds, which is a new team record. So without further ado, let's dive into each one of these draftees. Of course, we have to start with Wyatt Langford, who was drafted 4th overall by the Texas Rangers. Wyatt's now the highest drafted player in Tom Sox history, and he shined during his time in Seville in 2021. Langford batted .345 with 3 homers and 20 RBIs over 34 games with the Tom Sox, and that success carried over into his time with Florida, where he finished his career as a Gator with a .363 average, 47 home runs, and a College World Series championship appearance. Now, Wyatt may have only been the only Tom Sox player taken on night 1 in Seattle, but there was a quartet of former Sox taken on day 2, starting with Jack Hurley, who was selected near the top of the 3rd round with the 80th overall pick by the Arizona Diamondbacks. Hurley hit .321 over 154 games as a Hokie, belting 37 homers and driving in 129 runs over 3 seasons. He also laced 3 doubles and drove in 7 runs in 18 games with the Tom Sox in 2021. Now, staying in the 3rd round, just 5 picks after Hurley, Auburn's Cole Foster was selected with the 85th overall pick by the San Francisco Giants. Foster had 32 hits in 42 games with Charlottesville and was a VBL All-Star in 2021. At Auburn, Foster just had his best collegiate season in 2023, where he started all 55 games for the Tigers, hitting for a .336 average, collecting 26 extra base hits, and getting on base at a .429 clip. Now back over to the ACC, where Clemson's Cooper Ingle was selected in the 4th round with the 125th overall pick by the Cleveland Guardians. Ingle didn't play in many games with the Tom Sox due to a hand injury, but the hybrid catcher and outfielder hit for a .329 average and drove in 81 runs in 126 games with the Tigers. The final Tom Sox taken on day 2 was another Hokie in Christian Worley. The St. Louis Cardinals took Worley in the 9th round with the 275th overall pick, and Worley did great things with the Tom Sox in 2021. Worley had a 1.80 ERA in 20 innings, and with Virginia Tech, he had a sub-3 ERA in 5 appearances this season before undergoing Tommy John surgery. Christian not only had great success with the Tom Sox on the field, but also loved spending the summer here in Charlottesville. I was able to catch up with Christian recently to talk about his draft experience and what it was like spending the summer here with the Tom Sox.
I had the best time of my life, one of the best times of my life. Like college, like that year playing for the Tom Sox was great. My teammates were awesome. My host family was awesome. I couldn't have asked for a better situation to be in, honestly.
And you were one of 7 guys that was on that 2021 team that was just drafted last week. What was it like playing with a bunch of those guys in that summer, especially Brady Kirtner, who you spent time with both in Charlottesville and at Virginia Tech?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy because we all were, like, everyone on that team was awesome. Like, that, in my opinion, the Tom Sox are the best team in the Valley League every year, just from seeing previous years and then the years after. But yeah, playing, like, Wyatt Langford caught me and he didn't even catch at Florida. So he played outfield. Now he's the 4th overall pick. Elijah Nunez playing outfield. Cooper Ingle catching. Brady pitching. Brady was another starter. I mean, Brady's awesome. Brady's a man. Just, we call him Spinball because he has like one of the highest spin rate sliders and curveballs in the country. Great pitcher, great person, humble guy. Like, I don't know. Everyone on that team was just great to be around. Cole Foster, that's my boy. Like, I love that guy. He 3rd round to the Giants. I still talk to him. I saw him at the combine. Just anybody I see, anybody that I've seen down the road just treats me like a brother, and it's pretty cool to have that bond with all of those players.
Christian wasn't the only former Hokie taken in the MLB Draft, as his teammate both with the Sox and the Hokies, Brady Kirtner, was selected in the 12th round by the New York Mets, which started a run of former Sox taken on day 3. Kirtner is the lone 2023 draftee to have spent multiple summers in Charlottesville, as he was on both the 2021 and 2022 teams. Kirtner made 13 appearances for the Tom Sox over those 2 seasons, having an ERA just under 3. The Mets weren't the only NL East team to dive into the pool of former Tom Sox players either. The Phillies selected Marty Gare out of Florida Southwestern in the 13th round. TCU's Elijah Nunez was selected in the 14th round by the Nationals, and the Phillies went back to the former Tom Sox players in the 20th round by selecting Wake Forest's Pierce Bennett. And that only leaves one player left, and that's Garrett Wright, who was selected with the 599th overall pick by the Chicago White Sox. Wright only made 2 appearances with the Tom Sox in 2021, but he just made 21 appearances out of the bullpen with TCU, going 3-2 with 5 saves and a 3.41 ERA. That's going to be a wrap on our 2023 MLB Draft recap, and don't be surprised if we hear a ton of guys on this year's squad get selected in the 2024 draft. Back to you, Gianni.
Thank you, Nathan. Every year, our Tom Sox players get together and evaluate each other, not just on their on-field performances, but also things like who's the biggest flirt, who's the biggest jokester. Now, it's time for Tom Sox Superlatives.
Hey Tom Sox Nation, I'm Gianna Kataya, joined by Maya Beeling, and today we're asking the guys some team superlatives.
Now that we're nearing the end of the regular season, let's find out what the Sox think of each other. Who's the best trust?
Me.
Salvi.
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 I'd either say Calvin Alexander, known as KJ, or Chris Arroyo.
Jordan Little.
Aidan Teel. Bryce Martinez.
Braden Holiday.
Braden Holiday.
Chris Arroyo.
Chris Arroyo.
KJ.
Michael Eggert.
I'll go Eggy. Yeah, I'll say Eggy.
Brady Gump. Salvi.
Wiley.
Connor Hanks.
Chris Arroyo.
Who is the funniest?
Garrett Spikes.
Spikes.
David Wiley.
Spikes for sure.
Probably Wiley.
Aidan Teel.
David Wiley.
100%.
Quinn right there. That's my guy.
David Wiley.
Garrett Spikes.
KJ Alexander.
David Wiley.
Got it, Spikes. Spikes.
Spice.
Garrett Spikes.
David Udagawa.
David Wiley.
David Wiley.
Who has the best celebration?
Spikes.
Chris Arroyo.
Kyle Edwards.
Me, 100%.
KJ Alexander.
Double Sully? Oh, that's me.
David Wiley. Derek.
Garrett Spikes.
Garrett Spikes.
Chris Arroyo.
Garrett Spikes with the lawnmower. Derek.
Kyle Edwards.
Henry Ford, a.k.a. The Truth.
I don't even. Do people even celebrate?
Not Kyle Edwards. Anybody but.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Who is the biggest trash talker?
Spikes.
Spikes, 100%. Yeah.
David Wiley.
Kyle.
Kyle Edwards.
Martinez.
Kyle Edwards.
Kyle Edwards.
Let's go Aidan Teel.
Garrett Spikes.
David Wiley.
Spikes.
Oh, definitely the lefty that pitches for, I don't even know who.
Gotta be David Wiley.
And who's the biggest flirt?
Sergio.
Ryan Lynch.
Goins.
Probably Chris. Spikes again.
Garrett Spikes.
Spikes.
Chris Arroyo.
Ryan Lynch.
Brady Gump.
This kid, Davian.
Aidan Teel.
That's me.
Thanks, guys. We're almost out of time. But before we are, let's look at our upcoming Tom Sox schedule. That'll wrap up this episode of Tom Sox Weekly. Everyone, please subscribe to Tom Sox TV on YouTube, and also don't forget to subscribe to your favorite podcast, On Deck with the Tom Sox. For everyone involved, I'm Gianni Maltese. Go Sox!